First, we begin with breaking news and New York City rocked by a federal investigation. The FBI raiding the homes of two New York City deputy mayors as part of a federal probe.
The FBI raided the homes of several of the mayor's top aides and seized the phones of 7 members of the NYPD, including Police Commissioner Edward Caban.
Now, I thought things were bad in Dalton, but New York City is like, hold my beer, because the mayor is in trouble, the police commissioner is in trouble, and all of the mayor's top aides seem to be in some trouble. Let's talk about it. Okay, so let's talk about the newest legal drama straight out of New York City. The feds are in full force, and Mayor Adams' administration is facing a serious problem. We're talking about FBI raids, phones getting seized, and even rumors of NYPD Commissioner Edward Caban stepping down. So buckle up. This is a legal mess that's getting crazier and crazier each day. All right, first things first. Who are the key players here that we're talking about? Well, at the top of the list, we've got Mayor Eric Adams. Now, Adams is a former NYPD officer, Brooklyn borough president, and now he's the 110th mayor of New York City. Dude's got a long history in public service. Now, when we talk about the FBI investigating New York City corruption, let's start with the mayor. The FBI has a federal probe against the mayor of New York City for alleged corruption. Check it out.
Significant development in the corruption investigation into Mayor Eric Adams' 2021 campaign. Federal prosecutors subpoenaed the mayor last month, requesting more information in a probe we first learned about 9 months ago.
CBS News New York was able to confirm that the subpoenas seek information in a number of areas, including the mayor's travel with his aides, plus campaign financing dating back to 2021. In November of last year, we reported on the FBI raiding the home of the mayor's then fundraiser, Brianna Suggs. It's believed that this latest round of subpoenas likely tie into that case. Adams has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. In fact, in a recent statement, a spokesperson wrote, quote, "To be clear, we have not identified any evidence of illegal conduct by the mayor."
So now we know there's a federal probe into the mayor's campaign activities, and his stuff was all subpoenaed. But here's where things get wild. 2 of the mayor's top aides were recently raided by the FBI. I think last week, the first deputy mayor, Sean Wright, and the deputy mayor for public safety, Philip Banks III. Now, these aren't just some random colleagues. They're family. Now, the first deputy mayor, Wright, is engaged to David Banks, who happens to be the school chancellor. And Philip Banks is the brother of David Banks. Now, this is how everything went down. On September 4th, 2024, the FBI showed up to the homes of Sienna Wright and Philip Banks in the early morning hours. They weren't there for coffee and donuts, obviously. They were there for the electronic devices, more specifically their phones. The feds are digging into some serious allegations, allegedly. And when the phones start getting seized, things start getting heated up. Now, Philip Banks isn't the only one tied up in this, but both his brothers are also involved. David Banks, again, as I mentioned before, was school chancellor, and his other brother, Terrence Banks, who is an independent consultant. It's a full-on family affair in this FBI investigation. Now, we haven't moved on to the police commissioner, whose information was also subpoenaed. But I want to stay on Philip Banks for a second because the investigation seems to be about a bribery scandal. Check it out.
The investigation into Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Philip Banks, involves a bribery scheme and his brother, Terrence Banks, who runs a consulting business. CBS News New York has learned that Banks' firm, the Pearl Alliance, represents companies that have contracts worth hundreds of thousands of dollars with a number of city agencies. Last week, federal agents raided the homes of Philip Banks, the school's chancellor, and also David Banks, the school's chancellor. The Banks brothers have said that they are cooperating with this investigation.
Okay, let me pause this video and ask you a question. Have you used Google Chrome's Incognito Mode between 2016 and 2023? If so, you may be entitled to up to $5,000 in compensation. Now, if you use Incognito Mode, Google was secretly tracking your data, despite their promises that your search history and personal information was not going to be collected or tracked.
Collects 39 individual data points on you, and so this is all about data. They're trying to figure out how they can get access to it. So creating this Incognito Mode was supposed to be a way that they were not capturing or retaining your data. That's what we all believed, but they were capturing it. What Google says is we were capturing it, but we weren't keeping it on an individual basis. But the individuals that filed suit was saying, no, We signed up for Incognito Mode believing that when we used it, you weren't capturing our data at all.
What's the next thing, right? So speaking of what's the next thing, what happens to Google now? Are they at risk of more lawsuits from this?
100%.
So if you've used Google's Incognito Mode during the period of 2016 to 2023, you could be eligible to join the lawsuit at no cost to you. Visit browserclaim.com to see if you qualify. There are no upfront costs, no hidden fees. Simply fill out the form and start your claim. Now, I need you to understand, participating in any lawsuit doesn't guarantee compensation, but you do have the right to seek compensation if your privacy was violated. Now, full disclosure, my firm isn't the only one involved. For instance, one of the largest firms in the country, Morgan & Morgan, is also asking for clients for this lawsuit. Now, for more information and to get started, visit browserclaim.com today to protect your rights and hold Google accountable. Now, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, back to the video. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. One of the main targets seems to be NYPD Commissioner Eddie Caban. The Fed seized his phone last week, and now people are saying he should resign.
On the 14th floor of NYPD headquarters, pressure is mounting. Barely a year after he was sworn in as the city's first Latino police commissioner, Edward Caban is facing pressure to resign.
It's a very different world when you're the head law enforcement officer. So if there's a shadow over you, it really casts a shadow over the whole department.
Queens Council member Robert Holden is urging Caban to step down after revelations that the FBI had seized his phones and his computer, along with the electronics of half a dozen of his subordinates.
If there's some cronyism going on within the NYPD, that's got to be weeded out, and hopefully the feds do that.
Sources say the Justice Department is investigating the NYPD's nightlife enforcement practices for possible corruption within the ranks. The commissioner's twin brother James, on the right, owns a nightlife consulting business, and his devices were also seized.
Now, obviously, the mayor is going to be asked about the police commissioner. Should he resign, or are you going to fire him? And here's what the mayor had to say.
With a growing federal investigation enveloping the highest levels of the Adams administration, one of the targets, Police Commissioner Edward Caban, says he has no plans to resign. And the mayor, whose troubles also include that bout of COVID, tried to defend his stewardship of the city.
I want to assure you that I feel the awesome weight of that responsibility with my whole heart, and I will never do anything to betray your trust.
The virtual briefing in front of posters boasting of dropping crime rates. 5 days after the feds seized the phones of NYPD Commissioner Eddie Caban, sources tell News 4 investigators are looking into whether Caban's twin brother James may have sought payments from city nightclub owners in exchange for special protection from police.
I don't know James Caban that well. I know he's the brother of the commissioner, and we exchange pleasantries when we see each other, as I do with everyone.
Speculation has grown the commissioner is on his way out. I asked the mayor,
are you firing him? Is he resigning?
I communicated with the commissioner yesterday, and you know, as I've always stated, I don't go into private conversations. And whatever new changes in administrations that will be made when they come about, we will announce them.
So let me just recap what's going on. The mayor is under FBI investigation. His top aides, literally the number 2 and number 3 person, are under FBI investigation. The head of the schools, the head of the New York City school system, the chancellor, his stuff has been subpoenaed and taken by the FBI. The police commissioner, head of the police department, his stuff has been taken and seized by the FBI. His brother, the police commissioner's brother, is under investigation for taking bribes, allegedly. And things have even gotten worse because as of the making of this video, the NYPD police commissioner has resigned.
A short time ago, I accepted the resignation of the NYPD commissioner, Edward Caban.
The mayor's brief video address less than an hour after his embattled police commissioner sent a resignation letter. Eddie Caban writing, "The news around recent developments has created a distraction for our department, and I am unwilling to let my attention be on anything other than our important work or the safety of the men and women of the NYPD. For the good of this city and this department, I have made the difficult decision to resign as police commissioner."
I respect his decision, and I wish him well.
So This is a wide-ranging federal investigation into high levels of corruption at both the NYPD and top levels of city government, which is insane. So at the end of the day, let me know what you think. Do you think the mayor and all of his team should just step down and resign? How do you think they can run the city with everybody, all the top people in the city, essentially under FBI investigation? There are things being seized, their houses being raided. This is essentially a nightmare for the city of New York. Now, as always, I'm going to keep following this story and see where it takes us, because you know me, public corruption is my thing on this channel. Now, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.